The star card illustrates the way the mind works. The power of consciousness it represents is meditation. The results of meditations are revelations, which is the psychological title of this card. Although the name is star, singular, the card pictures 8 stars, 1 large yellow star and 7 smaller white stars. The title refers to the large yellow star in the center. This star symbolizes the spirit or life power which brings forth the world and produces all phenomena in it. The 7 smaller stars symbolize the sevenfold expression of the life power, the so-called Elohim. In the human body-mind vehicle, these are the 7 interior stars or chakras, and together these 7 chakras form the communication channel that connect us to higher levels of ourself. You may wonder what's the difference between the star and the sun, which is the 19th tarot card. As we all know, the sun is identical with the stars we can see in the night sky. The word night sky gives us a clue. The sun shines during the day and we observe stars at night. In tarot symbolism, day stands for consciousness and night for subconsciousness. Hence, the yellow star is the power of the sun, the life power, working through subconsciousness to bring about revelations. The star card illustrates how the mind works. In this context, the woman in the picture represents subconsciousness, which is in control of the mind. The orange vase symbolizes Hod, that's our intellect, and the green vase stands for Netzach, our creative and desirous faculty. The pool at the woman's feet is the mind, and the violet water symbolizes the substance of consciousness. That consciousness is a substance is an important enlightenment arcana. The great work commences after we gain sufficient clairvoyance to see the mind's substance. Subsequently, so-called alchemical processes, which are various forms of spiritual visual meditations, refine the substance of consciousness. On the Tree of Life, the star card illustrates the path that connects Netzach and Yesod. The pool represents Yesod, hence the water's violet color. The card shows that subconsciousness engages in 2 principal processes. The first process, the green vase, is creative in nature. It uses the mind in order to modify the external world. That's the stream that flows from the green vase and spreads on the land in 5 rivulets. The land represents the external world. The 5-fold stream signifies the 5 senses. Mind that the direction of the flow of consciousness is reversed. Usually, we take in experiences through the senses. In this case, the mind flows out through the 5 senses. This is another great arcana. The mind substance flows out through the senses with the help of the 5 elements. These are spirit, fire, water, air, and earth. These elements are the super-energetic building blocks of subnuclear particles. In short, the 5-fold stream stands for the law of attraction that produces experiences in the external world. The other mind process represents the internal use of the mind. The orange vase stands for memories and thoughts and imaginations. These are mental forms that we fill with consciousness. When we pour those out into the pool, they create ripples in the mind. These ripples are good when we're dealing with the external world, but they are bad when we want to meditate. Hence, the first thing we do when we sit down to meditate is to stop thinking and calming those ripples. When we succeed in calming the water of consciousness, the mind becomes a mirror. If we succeed in calming the movements of the mind below the surface, we can see all the wonderful things inside the pool, as well as the bottom, which is another great arcana. Every major arcana card represents a power of consciousness that expresses on 4 levels. The spiritual level, wand, the creative feeling level, cups, the intellectual level, swords, and the bodily level, pentacles. On the bodily level, the woman in the picture represents the default mode. network. The default mode network is the brain's neural network responsible for introspection. The tree on the hill on the left symbolizes the nervous system. The tree's trunk represents our backbone and the sympathetic nervous system. The foliage stands for the brain and the parasympathetic nervous system. On the intellectual level, the woman stands for positive thinking. Mind that thinking is a subconscious activity. We concentrate on a problem or question, and subconsciousness prompts thoughts. All we do is select or reject the thoughts that subconsciousness came up with. On the creative feeling level, the woman symbolizes the muse, which inspires creativity and art. On the spiritual level, the woman represents Bina, the grand soul that maintains the world through meditation. Accordingly, spiritual meditation partakes in Bina's grand meditation, or in other words, allows Bina to meditate through us. The respective intelligence of this card is the natural intelligence, and it is so called because by it is perfected the nature of all things under the orb of the sun. This hints at spiritual meditation, which perfects the body-mind vehicle. Mind the phrase under the orb of the sun. This refers to the yellow star, the spirit or life power, which, as mentioned, works through the 7 chakras. The bird and the tree is connected to this context. It represents the pineal gland that, once activated, brings about spiritual revelations. The card that follows the star card is the subconsciousness card, which indicates how the great work works. If we use meditations to perfect the body-mind vehicle, subconsciousness unlocks hidden faculties of the DNA. These modify and perfect the human body and turn on latent faculties of consciousness. This in turn leads to illumination, which is represented by the sun card and follows the moon card. Have a look at the following sequence of tarot card: Temperance, Adversity, the Tower, the Star, and the Moon, and the Sun. I recognize every circumstance of my life as a particular dealing of the higher self with my soul. This sums up the Temperance card. The angel in the picture stands for the higher self, which evolves our thinking and feeling through experiences, in particular, trials and temptations. The Adversity card represents our reaction to so-called bad experiences. We welcome good experiences and shun the bad ones. But we can only learn from bad experiences. Hence, bad experiences are actually more important than good experiences. If we learn from a so-called bad experience, we awaken to a hitherto unknown or shunned aspect of reality. The Tower card represents awakenings. Awakenings are often uncomfortable, but they induce revelations, which are always liberating. The Revelation card shows a peaceful period of contemplation on that to which we awoke. The woman in the star card reveals the nature of things or how things really are. That's why she's nude. Pay attention to the fact that she is kneeling. An awakening has brought her to her knees. Humility is a prerequisite to receiving revelations. As long as we think we know better, revelations will shun us. One could make the point that adversity and revelation are the two sides of awakenings. Adversity takes us into awakenings, which are moments of upheaval and chaos, but also moments of freedom, liberation, and letting go. If we let go, we clear the way for revelation, the revelation to a hitherto unknown or shunned aspect of reality. The next card, the Moon, stands for the corporeal intelligence, which incorporates revelations into the body-mind vehicle. That evolves our body-mind vehicle, which leads to generation, the Sun card. Sometimes we enter a period of reciprocal awakening, revelation, and integration. We have an awakening, followed by a revelation, followed by an integration. The integration leads to a new awakening, which brings a new revelation, and so on. This is the benevolent cycle of mental evolution. Thank you for watching this episode of Between the Pillars. I hope you enjoyed it and discovered an inspiration or two. Please help to spread the light with a like and a share. And don't forget to subscribe. Love and light.